Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it and break down the matchup that everyone is talking about, everyone keeps clamoring for, and let's just be honest and unbiased about it. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Jermall Charlo. Now, this has been the point of debate. Jermall Charlo has been calling out Canelo Alvarez. Dante's Bias Nation has been absent. Boxing Bias Ego has been absent. These guys don't really want to touch this subject because their fraud of a fighter who's been extremely hyped in Jermall Charlo has been hyped to the point of no return. Now he's been exposed. Now I've heard people come out and say that Matt Korobov is elite. People have really said this. That's how you know you're a fanboy. When you start taking illogical arguments and start trying to make them logical. That makes no sense. Matt Korobov is not an elite level opponent. He's just not. And if you look at Jermall Charlo, he'd already been training for a southpaw. What is the problem? Jermall Charlo's younger, faster. That shouldn't have affected him. He should have came out and performed. Period. Matt Korobov gave him hell and back, and that's because Jermall Charlo is hyped. Jermall Charlo has never proven to be an elite level fighter in his. And this, I wasn't even calling this a step-up fight. Let's be honest. This was not a step-up fight. This is not a step-up fight. This is not a fight against a Gennady Golovkin. This is not a fight against a top-level guy or world champion at 160 pounds. This is not that. That's not what this is. This is a fight against Matt Korobov, who was supposed to be a showcase fight on your first fight on Fox. That's what this fight was for. And he lost. If we're honest and unbiased, he did not win that fight. So then when you look at Saul Canelo Alvarez, you look at the same shots that he was so open for on the chin over and over again for Matt Korobov, except for Matt Korobov don't have the punching power to stop him. Matt Korobov doesn't have the punching power to lay him down and drop him. But you know who has that punching power? You know who has that speed and precision and accuracy? Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez has proven over and over again that he has a solid chin. And we all know that, Canelo Alvarez has a much better chin than Matt Korobov. We all know that Canelo Alvarez is faster, hits harder than Matt Korobov. Canelo Alvarez is a different level of fighter. And in my opinion, if Canelo Alvarez fought Jermall Charlo today, that fight would not even go 5 rounds. I believe Canelo Alvarez would stop Jermall Charlo rather easily because he's there to get hit. And a lot of people are making these fanboy excuses and stating, Jermall Charlo, he was visibly upset. It was an off night because his brother lost. Let's be honest and unbiased. These same hits that I've seen him take on the chin, I've seen him take those same hits against Austin Trout. I've seen him take those same hits against J-Rock. I've seen him take those hits before. Unfortunately, none of those opponents had the power to hurt him. Canelo Alvarez has the power to hurt him. Canelo Alvarez has the power to stop Jermall Charlo. And in my opinion, Triple G has the power to stop Jermall Charlo. Demetrius Andre would probably box circles around him if he didn't stop him, and I believe Danny Jacobs would stop him as well. Everybody that's on the top tier of the division, I believe, would stop Jermall Charlo for the simple fact that he's not an elite level boxer. He keeps his hands down. He is not a top level fighter. He does not move his head enough. These guys have been so hyped that they fooled the new biased media, and all of their hopes have been crushed and dashed. Canelo Alvarez is the top fighter at 160 pounds right now, and the only way to dethrone him is to be a proven fighter, an elite level fighter. And you have to be able to hurt Canelo Alvarez. And we've seen Jermall Charlo in there with Matt Korobov going 12 rounds, who's nowhere near the level of a Saul Canelo Alvarez. So let's be honest and unbiased, is that all the new media hype that they put behind Jermall Charlo was for one reason and one reason only, is that he's a PBC fighter. And Dante's Bias Nation made a lot of racial things, and that is the point is they didn't want to support Canelo Alvarez. If we're honest, they didn't want to support Canelo for the simple fact that he was not a PBC fighter. He didn't look like them. That is why they didn't want to support Canelo Alvarez. We don't worry about what Canelo looks like. We don't worry about what promoters he's with. We worry about who's the best fighter and what's the best matchup. We go off facts, and the facts have shown are this. Canelo Alvarez is a proven fighter who's fought elite level competition and prevailed. He's world champion at 160 pounds. He moved up to 168 and showed that his power carried. That's what this is. That's what this is. Rocky Fielding, the same opponent that Canelo Alvarez just stopped, would beat Matt Korobov today. That's how big of a gap this is. No one expected Matt Korobov to do any damage to Jermall Charlo. Now I heard a lot of his fanboys hyping up Matt Korobov. Now he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's a very good fighter. He's a top fighter. He's this, he's that. He's a tricky guy. Of course they're going to say all these things now. Now they're trying to make him to be something that he's not, because he gave their guy a very, very tough fight. In my opinion, he beat Jermall Charlo. I think they should have a rematch. I think Matt Korobov should get another shot, because I feel like he was cheated out of that fight. I don't think he should be the WBC mandatory for Canelo Alvarez or Triple G. I think that, the fight to fight Triple G to beat Canelo's mandatory. I think that Matt Korobov should be that guy, and I think that Matt Korobov and Jermall Charlo should fight again to settle that, instead of Jermall Charlo still calling for Canelo or Triple G, because he's clearly not on that level, and he clearly didn't demolish Matt Korobov. And in my opinion, I believe the judges gave it to him because they feared a riot. They felt that if you gave the fight to, Matt Korobov, and they know that he won, everyone in there would have lost their mind. And, you hear all these people saying, oh, well, look at the crowd. They know who won. That was a pro crowd for the Charlo brothers. That entire crowd was there to see these guys get knockouts, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't perform because these guys are fundamentally flawed. They do not know how to cut the ring off. They do not know how to box at an elite or superior level, because, and I'll be honest with you, and unbiased, is because they don't understand the nature of sparring. They think that sparring bigger and stronger opponents is how you get better, and that's not it. There's a saying, iron sharpens iron, and I don't believe that. I believe that you need to use tacticians. If you know you're a strong boxer, then you need to work on your boxing skills and fundamentals, head movement, foot movement. These guys aren't working on that. These guys are trying to be the biggest and strongest. Well, while you're trying to be the biggest and strongest, what happens when you face a fighter who's the smartest? What happens then when you can't figure things out, when you can't make those adjustments? Because sometimes your power, and if that's all you have, then you're virtually a one-trick pony. That's what I mean. You have to be unbiased in your assessment of this. Canelo Alvarez has all of those tools in his toolbox. Canelo can box. Canelo can stand in the pocket. Canelo can use lateral movement. Canelo has power. Canelo has speed. Canelo has everything that these guys lack to make a total fighter. So to make the insinuation that Canelo's scared or ducking these guys in any way, in any shape or form, biased new media and all these fanboys were exposed along with the Charlo brothers. Because anyone that told you that Canelo was ducking the Charlos at any point, and some people are still making that assertion, do not know anything about boxing, and they are just fans. These guys aren't giving you any real knowledge. You can't take them seriously because they do not know boxing. They do not understand the concept of it. These guys are just fanboys. And when you're a fanboy, you're going to cheer for a guy and make illogical arguments all the time. Once again, unbiased as always, is the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.